Hey guys, this is Tia at harlemmakayev.com. How are you? Hope you're having a good evening. I just wanted to pop back on to talk to you about EMDR and a safe place. So EMDR, I have been giving you a couple updates. It stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a form of therapy that is actually very, very successful. And clients go for only a few months maximum, not for 5 years, and it's usually used for trauma. So it depends, it could be any kind of trauma. So I'm using it for basically grieving. So I have been going for my EMDR. They're about 45-minute sessions, sometimes they're even 40 minutes. And this is the 4th session that I just went to this past week. And it's absolutely unbelievable. So the first 3 sessions, I was sitting there very emotional because basically in the session you are brought back to that traumatic moment and you're processing through it. However, on my 4th session, I'm happy to report just 4 sessions in, there was almost no trauma. So I don't know, I'm going back for my 5th session. Maybe that'll be different. Maybe it was just a good week. Maybe it was a coincidence. But primarily, almost all of what I was talking about and experienced was not negative in the least. And it didn't have that same, that same searing feeling that it did before. It was like a lighter version of the trauma and not as bad. So I'm very, very thrilled about that. I've heard great things about EMDR. Everyone that I know who knows about EMDR says it's great. So I wanted to pass this along to you so you could be aware of how great it is, basically, if you are dealing with any kind of trauma. Hey, Destiny. Now, in EMDR, there is something called a safe place. So when they bring you to that traumatic place, at the end of the session, so the traumatic place, hey, Carly, is where you whatever trauma happened with you. For me, it's the moment that my mother died. And so by the end of the session, before you leave, so that you're not leaving traumatized and crying in a very bad place, the therapist has you determine in advance your safe place. But this is something you can use outside of EMDR therapy. If you're ever feeling depressed, sad, fearful, and even angry, some techniques people use, they just walk out of the room, right, and they distance themselves. But if you want to deal with something in the moment, that's if you're dealing with another person. If you're dealing with your own emotions, you can't escape it, right? So safe place basically is anywhere of your choosing. You can literally fantasize and pick some amazing place. It could be a place that doesn't even exist, that's otherworldly. It could be on another planet. It could be in the middle of the sky. It could be a beach, it could be a forest, it could be the mountains, it could be anywhere that's beautiful, but it has to be somewhere where you don't feel scared of anything, and you can't have another person there because the whole point is it's your safe place. It's your place that if you go there in your mind when you're having a rough day, that no one can hurt you there, that you're happy there, it's a joyful place, that you're going to be fine as long as you're in your safe place. So, for me, I have a beach location, so I won't describe it in detail because obviously that's really personal. Hey, Sarah, thanks so much. Yeah, throw up any hearts if you are liking this. But yeah, so you pick a place that again it could be anything. It could be in a home. You can dream big. You can have some wonderful, expensive home on the beach somewhere. Or, like I said, you could be in a parachute in the sky, or one of those, what do you call, over wineries when you see those balloons that go up into the sky, those big hot air balloons. It could be anything like that. But the point for this is you get very detailed. If you're on a beach, what is the color of the sand? What is the color of the water? Is there breeze? What's the temperature? You can, if you have pets, you can have your pets there with you, but like I said, you're not supposed to have another person because it's supposed to be about your ability to help contain your own emotions, so you're not supposed to be getting outside help. Hey, Giovanni. So you would, what do the trees look like? You would go into detail of everything. If you were inside a house, you would look at all the different artifacts that were in there, and so it's very, very vivid, and it's anything that makes you joyful, if there's anything when you're trying to come up with your safe place that pops up that brings you to a bad place, or you're seeing bad things, you can start over with a new safe place. The whole point is you have this so that when you're in any kind of difficult situation, again, outside of EMDR trauma therapy, you can use this to kind of recalibrate your brain, if you will. And actually, I've tried this outside of therapy. She said to me, are you going to your safe place when I've had a bad day? And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that, because it's something we've been doing in therapy. And she told me to. It's just not second nature. But sure enough, the other day when I was feeling down, I did this. I just right away, I'm like, I'm not going to go there. Like, sometimes you need to cry, okay? Sometimes you need to get it out, but you can't wallow in pity, right? So right when I was feeling like upset, but I knew I didn't feel like crying, right away within minutes, I'm like, okay, let me go to my safe place. And I just imagine it. It's a beautiful place. It's like a paradise. And it's a place where you feel warm and fuzzy. And for me, I felt very safe there. Hey, Sonia. So it helps get you in, like I said, a safe place, somewhere where you know nothing or nobody can hurt you. And so you feel powerful after that, because you feel like you're able to control your own emotions. You're able to take charge of your life, so you're not powerless. And that's the whole point of it. As you think about our world, unfortunately, pretty much now, as we know on the news, you can't really go anywhere where you're actually safe. There's literally nowhere that you're 100% safe. You can't go to hotels, to malls, to schools, to anywhere. And not to sound negative, it's just the truth of the matter. There's nowhere you can be. Even inside your own home, you're not necessarily safe. So it's sometimes hard for people. Like, it was hard for me initially to come up with a safe place. It was actually right after the shooting in Las Vegas. I wasn't there, thank God. And I didn't know anyone personally who was there, thank God. But that was like in my head. And so I was having a hard time, you know, because that was so traumatic to watch, even just on the news. I was having a hard time coming to my safe place. But finally, I got past all that. And I was able to do it. So it might be difficult for you to come up with that at first, just because it's kind of like something that doesn't really exist. There isn't, unfortunately, completely peace on earth, no matter where you go. But when you do find it, when you're able to get it and you keep that place, it helps you escape any of your negative feelings. So I just wanted to share that. Like I said, EMDR has been going great. It was only my 4th session, and there's already a huge transformation. I'll continue to report back to you guys. If anyone has any trauma and they're looking for any kind of therapy, EMDR would be the way to go. I have a couple other videos explaining it. But the safe place is for anybody, irregardless of trauma or therapy. We're all human. We all have bad days. We all, get depressed, sad, angry, whatever. But you have to draw yourself back in as much as possible, and that's the way to do it. So I hope that that was a helpful tip. Just remember, when you do your safe place, make sure that it's very vivid in detail, in the colors, in everything. So it's just, there's a lot behind it. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. If you've never heard of EMDR, actually drop a 1 below. And if you have heard of it, drop a 2 below. And if you have a safe place already, drop a 3. If you don't, drop a 4. I'd really like to know. And I'll wish you a very good evening and a wonderful weekend. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.